What's up, YouTube? This is MathWiz97 and welcome to another State of the Channel video. I didn't think I would be doing another one of these until, well, the end of the year, considering that's when I did my last one, but considering the significance of the event that just took place in my life, I feel as though a State of the Channel video would be kind of necessary, and I can also kind of go over a few points that I did mention in the previous video, just to kind of remind some people who may not have seen the last one, and also shed some new light now that it is 6 months after the original State of the Channel video that I did make. So as you can tell by the title of the video, I just had my high school graduation. I'm actually doing this commentary on Thursday morning, the 9th of June, which is the day after my graduation. I wanted to do this commentary pretty quickly after the fact, so that way my thoughts were still kind of fresh in my mind and I could really kind of relay my experiences. Of course, as per usual, there will be links to, like, timestamps down in the description when I will actually be talking about more future plans regarding this channel, if you really don't care about my personal life, about this graduation. It was a really important experience for me, which is kind of why I want to talk about it and, you know, give it sort of a discussion in a video like this, because even if nobody else really gains any value out of this, I can always look back on this video years from now and think, huh, so that's what graduation was like. I'm sure it's a moment, it's a night that I'm not going to forget, but just in case, you know, I doubt I'm going to remember all the little details that I remember right now. So making a video like this, for me personally, I think is just a good idea. So where to start? I guess I should preface before I even start all this, I was chosen to be the student speaker at graduation, so I had to write a speech. I auditioned for it several weeks ago. The funny thing is, before I even discussed the process of giving the speech at graduation, I almost didn't even audition for it. I was originally scheduled to work the day of the audition, and at first I was thinking to myself, I don't know if it's really worth bending over backwards to try to just to get this audition done. They really didn't give us, they gave us very short notice. It was like the Wednesday before, and it was that Friday, it was graduation, or not graduation, that it was the audition. So I had mixed feelings towards it, because on one hand, I really wanted to do the speech. I thought it would be a good experience. I'll bring this up later in the video as well, just in case people skip this part. But I'm going to be an electronic media major, and I'm looking to go into some sort of field related to TV, radio, media production, that type of thing. Maybe even voice acting, if I can improve my voice to incorporate some more inflection into my speech, which I've struggled with definitely in some of my videos and just in life in general. My voice is very monotone, but I can command my voice and have different sort of inflections when I really try to, but it's just a matter of really commanding that and getting it to work. So as I was saying, with this audition, I ended up switching shifts with somebody the night before the audition, so I didn't even have a speech written. I didn't have any time to practice it. I just wrote it. I came home from work Thursday night. It was about 9:30, 10 o'clock when I finally started writing it, and I wrote it all that one night. I think I was done by maybe 12:30, and then I had to print it out at school the next day. I signed up for the audition the morning of the audition, and I had to give them a copy of my speech, so I did that. The original draft of my speech wasn't really that great. There was a lot of holes in it that I was able to improve on later on, but obviously when you write the speech in one night and it's late at night, it's not going to be your greatest form of writing. That's one thing I've really picked up. I take a lot of AP classes. Well, when I say a lot, I mean 2. One last year and one this past year. I take AP English courses. So the AP exam, when you have to write those prompts, it is ridiculous. They expect you to write a masterpiece to get a 9. which is the top score, they expect you to write a masterpiece in... You have to write 3 essays in a span of like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And obviously that's not going to be your best writing. So just to kind of put that in perspective, me trying to write that speech in one night wasn't going to be the best that I could offer. But I think I was like 10th out of maybe 13 or 14 people who showed up to audition for it. And really, that was more stressful, I think, than waiting to give the speech at graduation itself, which is surprising. I thought I would be a little more stressed out as I was just anticipating this speech. But really, when I was auditioning for it, just waiting in line as one by one people went into the room to give their auditions, and then they left, and then the people, they just dwindled down until there were like 5 of us left. And then I finally went in to give my speech, and I was expecting there to be maybe like 2 or 3 teachers, just, you know, a small group of people just to analyze it and figure out who would be the best speaker. No! There was more than 3 teachers. There was like 10 of them, and they weren't just teachers. The principal was there, the vice principal was there, English teachers, history teachers, science teachers. It was, I was unprepared. I was ill-equipped for that environment. I was very surprised going into that room. And I don't think I delivered the speech all that well. I was very nervous. I don't think I used the proper gestures I could have. I didn't enunciate where I could have. But ultimately, I have taken an advanced speech course in my junior and senior year, and that has really helped me grow. And as well, this YouTube channel has really helped me grow and become a much better speaker. It's definitely helped me become more comfortable in my own skin. I'm more comfortable with who I am, expressing myself, and ultimately that was able to transition into this audition. And in the end, out of the 14 or so people who auditioned, they only chose one person, and they chose me. And it's really crazy when you think about it, because I almost forfeited the chance to audition for the speech. And if I hadn't done that, then none of this would have happened. I even mentioned that in my speech. I say, well, how would I feel looking back on this years from now, when I remember all the what-ifs, what I could have done or what I should have done? That was really my main motivation, to try to get this audition to work, because what I was thinking was, even if they don't select me, at least I know that I gave it my best shot. I did everything that I could to try to get this speech, and even if I fail, if they choose somebody else, hey, at least I know that I tried. Because then I wouldn't have to worry about, oh, well, it could have been you if maybe you had tried to switch to get that audition. So fortunately, they did select me. I had to go back and I revised it a couple of times over the next several weeks. I had to deliver the speech again in front of my AP English class. So I presented it again there. I felt a little more confident because it was more... With teachers, you'd think it would be less stressful because you don't necessarily know them all that well. But they are more authoritative figures, so maybe that was why it seemed more stressful. But when it was in front of my peers in that AP class, there are some people I've gone to elementary school with. I've known them for a very long time. Some people I've only known since high school, but when you are in that sort of, I don't want to say elite group, because that sounds super prideful and arrogant, but when you're in a group like that where usually you'll see the same people as you go up in the courses, whether you're taking honors math courses or honors history or honors science or honors English, really, you know which people are going to be in the honors courses or the AP courses, and you start to really get to know them because you're taking the same courses. And that's really how I felt with this AP English group. I've kept to myself a lot as a kid, and going up through high school, I have started to open up a bit more. This YouTube channel, taking speech courses, being on the morning announcements at my high school have really helped me open up and be myself. But even so, this speech that I wrote was very personal, so kind of revealing myself like that, like this is the true me, I thought it would be a little more stressful to my peers because these are people that I know, that I've been around with. And so, like, exposing myself, I don't know what could happen. They could judge me. I don't know, like, they might not look at me the same way again. And that was true. It was nothing negative, but I don't know, that's just the type of person I am. I'm pretty self-conscious, so doing something like that, it was definitely stepping outside of my comfort zone, but that's what you gotta do in situations like that. So that speech went over well. I was more... Usually when I give a speech, whether it's just in front of a classroom or at graduation, usually beforehand I'm really nervous. After the speech, I'm still really nervous. But then, like, as I'm giving the speech, I've really grown to be less nervous while I'm speaking. Really, then I can kind of settle in, be comfortable up at the podium or on stage just giving that speech, because then I know I'm in control. But before and afterwards, I still always get nervous. And people, in my speech courses, people have told me that I was one of the best speakers in the class. People look up to me in terms of speaking, which is really humbling because the type of person I was in middle school and elementary school and even early high school, I never would have expected that I would be capable of something like this. So to have people look up to me like that, it's just really humbling. But even then, I still get nervous because I don't know what could happen. I could make a mistake and look like a fool, and then nobody would ever look at me the same again. I could ruin my life, I suppose, is how I feel. And that's a really stupid way of looking at it, in my opinion, but even then, that's still the way I feel, and I can't really stop that. So, now that I've gone through the whole backstory behind this speech, and that took a lot longer than I expected, I was hoping to keep this video under half an hour, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. We'll see how things go from here. Ugh, I always go long-winded with these things. And now we bring it back to the day of graduation, where we all started this video. So we had our graduation practice, we went to the building where we were graduating, and we went through the motions. Didn't actually, like, no speeches were really given. It was just kind of, people would go up, be like, okay, this is when I would talk, then this guy's gonna come on and talk. And then that guy goes up, and it's like, okay, after I talk, then our class advisor's gonna come up. And then she goes up, and she's like, blah, blah, blah. And I would say something along the lines of this and that, and yada, yada, yada. And then introducing valedictorian, salutatorian, they go through that. Introducing the class speaker, that sort of thing. And then after we go through all the people that are up on stage, we go over, get our handshakes, our diplomas, we go through that, and then we went through the entire class, getting them all going up on stage, getting their quote-unquote diplomas. That whole process took maybe about an hour and a half, maybe an hour or two. But during that, it was funny. My friends were in the audience, and they were taking pictures of me up on stage, because I'm sitting there, and I don't know what to do, because I wasn't expecting to be on stage the whole time, and I'm really socially awkward, so I was like, okay, I'll just stare at random places, because I don't know what to do in this situation. So apparently I had this, like, really dead expression. Like, I was just so dead expression, like, emotionless. And these people, my friends, they were taking pictures of me and making, like, memes on Snapchat, just making hilarious memes, mocking my expression. So that was pretty funny once I saw that after the fact. But really nothing too eventful at the actual grad practice itself. Then we drove to the building, went inside, and it was weird because they had us there at 5:45. Graduation didn't start, like, the ceremony didn't start until 7 o'clock. And they didn't really even have us line up until, like, 6:15, 6:30. And even then, we were just kind of waiting there. So there was a lot of time just sort of standing around, which worked out because I was able to see a lot of people that I was friends with throughout high school, people that I used to hang out with. It was good. Like, I'm not gonna complain that we were there super early. My feet were definitely sore after all the standing, and of course the previous 2 days I had worked, and I'm standing constantly at work, so my feet could use a little rest after that ceremony, but that's nothing really. There are people who put up with far worse than that, so I have no right to complain. So I got to talk to these people, hang out with them for a little bit. That was fun. One of my friends actually had, we were allowed to decorate our cap. I didn't because I'm unoriginal, but one of my friends, he always has a Rubik's Cube with him at school, so he had a Rubik's Cube design on his cap. It was the greatest thing ever. But anyways, I'm getting off on a tangent again. So now for the proper graduation. We got in our line alphabetically, and then we had our group at the front, which was the usual, the class advisors, valedictorian, salutatorian. We have like a tech school, so there was their valedictorian, and then there was me at the back. I was last on stage. I was don't remember exactly what they called me, like the commencement speaker, student speaker, or something like that. So we've all now lined up. We're in this hallway, and by this point now, we are just slowly proceeding forward. Like, we'll go a little bit and then stop, and then go a little bit further and then stop, where we have like this half hour where we're just kind of inching towards where we're going, towards our destination. And that part really kind of made it more stressful, really just building up the tension. And really, I don't know why they had to drag it out like that. We could have just kind of waited in the one place and then just moved when it was time to start. But no, we inched our way forward. We're slowly going up this staircase. We stop like halfway up the staircase, wait there for like 5 minutes, then we move up to the top of the staircase. We stop there for like another 5 minutes. We move over to the entrance. We stop there for like another 5 minutes, and then it finally begins. So when we go in, there's this little spot where there's a video camera. They record everybody entering. So my partner that I entered with was a retired principal. So she wasn't there for the practice, so we didn't really have anything planned, any sort of special pose or whatever. So I just kind of held up my grad speech and was like pointing between that and my face because I'm like, hey, look what I'm doing. And she was just applauding me. So that was cool. Then we had to go up to the stage. I was like the very last seat on that side of the stage where all the students were sitting. Fortunately, they had bottles of water for everybody on stage, which was good because for the people who were giving speeches, that probably helped. Definitely helped me. So now we're up on stage. We had to stand there and wait for everybody to make their entrances. And the way it was set up, there are displays for like the audience to see, like to the sides of the stage, and up above, like where all the lights are, they had two little screens to display what the audience was seeing on their screens. Unfortunately for us, half of our screen didn't work. Like, it got stuck on the entrance part. So there were two cameras because we entered from both sides of the auditorium. So one of the cameras that was pointing at the wall where people would enter, it was just stuck there. So the right half of our screen wasn't displaying anything. It was just that one camera. So we would occasionally see random audience people just walk across, but it was only like that for our screen. The one that the people were seeing was fine, so maybe that's why it never got fixed. But the whole time now, you just see this brick wall taking up half of the screen. You only half see what's being shown. So whenever the people are going up to speak, or it's showing people walking across the stage, or showing us sitting there, you only see half of it. And I was on the right half, so I could see myself whenever they would cut to us, just sitting there on the stage. It was ridiculous, but once I watch the video back, when we get the DVD for it, I'll be able to actually see what everything looked like proper, and not have half of a brick wall covering everything. So I'm not going to break it down step by step what happened from here, but everybody went through, they did their thing. The valedictorian gave a speech, the salutatorian gave a speech. Those seemed to go over well. And then the class officer went up, class president, I should say, went up. And then she introduced me. I grabbed my speech, got a quick drink of water because I didn't want to go up there and start choking from a dry throat or anything. So then I went up to give the speech, and I was surprised at how not nervous I was. Granted, I was nervous, but I wasn't nearly as nervous as I expected to be. I thought I would go up there and my hands would be shaking a little bit, that kind of nervous tremor that I usually get before a speech. And it was weird, while I was on stage watching everyone else give their speeches, I was nervous, but I wasn't as nervous as I usually am, which was kind of surprising, and that transitioned into my speech as well. I seemed to be really confident during that speech, and I was surprised. I didn't think I would be. I expected to be nervous for this speech, but in the end, I wasn't as nervous as I thought I would be. So I went up, I'm giving my speech, get the audience to laugh for some of my jokes in my opening paragraph, which was good. Would have been kind of an awkward start if I made these jokes and there was just dead silence. Fortunately, I did get some laughter. Then as I'm going through, I think maybe the third paragraph, I make a mistake, because I kind of doubted what I had written in that speech. I was going to try to go off script and explain it a little bit, but I just ended up confusing myself, and I blanked. I was like, oh no, I just messed up this speech, it's over. But then I went back to the script, I looked at it, and I kept reading what I was supposed to read, and I recovered pretty well, which I'm glad I was able to. If I had just stuck with my speech, if I had stayed confident in what I had written, then I wouldn't have made that mistake in the first place. Which, in a way, kind of tied into the theme of the speech, which was, don't let fear hold you back, and don't doubt yourself, because that's what I did. I doubted myself for that moment, and as a result, I made a mistake. But I recovered from that mistake. I put my faith back into what I had written, and I just stayed with the script from there, and everything went well. Some of my friends gave me a standing ovation. I mean, when I was giving the speech, I was looking into the crowd. I wasn't processing anything that I saw. All I saw was just a wave of people. I didn't see any particular faces. They tell you, like, when you go up to give a speech, if you're nervous, they're like, oh, picture people in their underwear, because that will help. What does that do? If anything, I almost feel like that would make it worse, because then you're staring at a bunch of naked people, practically. I don't understand that. I never understood that idea. I didn't really focus in on any objects or any people. I did try to scan the audience, and I think I did a pretty good job. And yeah, the speech went over well. And then once I had done that speech, it was basically over from there. They announced the people on stage for their diplomas. And they weren't real diplomas. They were like, it was a book that I guess you could put your diploma in after you get it, but you had to go downstairs after the fact to get your diploma. Not quite sure why we couldn't just get it on stage, but it's whatever. So then we went through that. When I got my diploma, at the end of the stage, we were supposed to stand to get a picture taken with our book. So I forgot that I was supposed to get a picture taken, so I was starting to walk back, and they're like, no, you need to take a picture here. So then I'm staring out into the audience, and they're like, no, turn around, the picture's the other way. So, I probably look like an idiot, but hey, that's what moments like that are all about, so you just gotta have fun. And after that, that was basically it. I mean, that's when everybody else went up on stage to get their diplomas. They announced people alphabetically, and I was just kind of stuck sitting there for the rest of the graduation ceremony, watching everybody walk by. During grad practice, it was weird sitting up on stage. I felt so awkward because I wasn't expecting to be there. All eyes would have been on me from the crowd because I'm right there on stage with, there's a couple of other people, but I'm there the whole time. So when the focus is up on the stage, I'm in that focus. I'm part of like the main view. So really the only funny thing after that was at the end, where you're supposed to stand up and the people on stage will flip their tassels from the right to the left, and then you're graduated, and then that's when you throw your caps in the air and whatnot, you celebrate. So we did that. We were all kind of looking at each other wondering, okay, is this guy supposed to say something, or do we just go? He was giving his speech, and then there was like this pause. So we stood up, and we turned our tassels to the left, and then the students in the crowd followed suit, and then we celebrated. We threw our caps in the air. Somebody threw a beach ball into the air before it was confiscated. Yeah. So yeah, we were graduated, except we weren't, because then the guy, he's like, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but that didn't just happen. And then he gave the word. He's like, I now pronounce you graduated. And then we turned the tassels, threw hats in the air. Then we were graduated for real. That was a pretty funny moment. A bit of miscommunication there, but I thought that only made the night even better. It's just a funny thing to look back on. So then we had to go downstairs and get our diplomas. That was when I started seeing everybody. We had to go into this small room, so trying to get people through the tiny doorway to get the diplomas was a bit of a challenge, but it worked out. Nobody got trapped in the door, so that's nice. I started seeing some of my friends, and really, at this point, people were congratulating me on how good my speech was. Some people, I mean, everybody enjoyed my speech. They thought it was really good. And it seemed like every time somebody would come up and congratulate me, whether it was a friend, a classmate, or even a complete stranger, every time somebody would come up and say, oh, that was a really nice speech, some people said they wouldn't have had the courage to do what I did because it was a really personal speech. I felt like I was putting my identity out there, like this is who I really am, really throwing myself out there to be judged, to be criticized. So with everybody congratulating me and telling me I did such a great job, at that point it was, whenever somebody would come up to me, it felt like I was gonna start crying, like every time somebody came up to congratulate me. I didn't end up crying, but every time I would get teary-eyed and start choking up, I'd be like, thank you. Some people I couldn't say thank you because I was choking up, but it was really, like, I was really proud of myself. I was incredibly humbled that so many people, even complete strangers, people I had never met before, they were coming up to me and telling me I did such a great job with my speech. It really, really made me feel, I don't know if I can put it into words. Proud is one word, but I don't feel like that completely gets it. I was really happy. I really had a lot of fun that night. It shows me that you really know you've done a good job. You really know that you've accomplished something when people you've never even met before are walking up to you. Some people even were seeking me out to congratulate me, to tell me that I did such a great job on that speech. Grateful is definitely a word that comes to mind. One thing that'll really stick with me from Daniel Bryan's retirement speech was grateful. You know, be grateful for what you have. This was a theme that I couldn't really tie into my speech because my theme was progress and not being afraid to fail. I couldn't really tie gratefulness into that speech without kind of taking it in a different direction and kind of splitting off into two different sort of tangents or subsections. So here I feel is a good spot where I can mention how grateful I am for the people in my life, the events in my life that have helped to shape who I am. I don't really think that I have any regrets. There are a couple things where I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that, or I should have done this differently. But ultimately, even those things that I feel I should have changed, they helped to shape the person I am today. So I can't say that I necessarily regret what I've done. So just to have all these people, all the support, it really made me feel happy, proud, grateful. I still feel like those words don't quite capture the emotion that I felt whenever somebody would come up to congratulate me. In the end, I guess I can say it was definitely a very successful experience for me. I'm really glad that I auditioned for the speech, that I was able to go up there and give this speech. It really makes me feel much more confident in myself because I was able to go up there in front of several thousand people and give this speech and really reveal myself to the world. I had that much confidence that I was able to go up there and deliver this speech to really convey my story and as well try to motivate other people to really accomplish something in the world. That's part of the reason why I really want to go into this sort of field, is that there are people out there who really, they go through times where, the world might not look so great. Whether you have, like, depression or some sort of physical injury or maybe a loved one has passed away. I recently lost my uncle to cancer. He had pancreatic cancer. So I didn't mention it in my speech because I felt it would have been a bit of a distraction, but I sort of dedicate that speech to him, because I know if he could have been there, he would have appreciated it. But ultimately, going into this type of field, I feel like if I can make somebody's day better, if I can, just by giving a speech or making a stupid internet video, if I can put somebody in a better mood because of it, then I feel like I've really achieved something. And giving this graduation speech, like I said, it's really humbling. I'm really grateful for all the people that were there, the people who congratulated me, the friends I was able to see before and after graduation, even just the people maybe I've had classes with or maybe hung out with in like elementary school or middle school, but really haven't talked to since. Even people that I know from, like, I know who they are, like their face or their name, but I don't necessarily talk with them. To have these people come up to me and really just to see how proud they are of me, to see their reaction to my speech. I feel like I'm just repeating myself at this point, but it really is an experience that I don't think I can ever really replicate. Even if I would give like a commencement speech when I go off to college, it's not going to be the same as the speech I gave last night, because these are people that, at the very least, the majority of them I have been to school with for the past 6 years. We really are like a collective body. And there's people that I might never see again. Some people I might see 1 or 2 more times, but then that could be it. And there could still be people that I'm friends with now who I might be friends with for the rest of my life. To have such a wide range of people, whether they're students, adults, faculty members, just to have these people, all of them, to be so kind, to really, the fact that I was able to kind of grab them, that I was able to do something good in their eyes with my speech, it really just gives me a feeling that I can't put into words right now. Maybe someday I'll find the right word to describe how I'm feeling, but right now I just can't really place it. So that was, oh my god, that took forever. That was my graduation. That was how my speech went. Those were my thoughts on how things went. I hope that at least somebody could have enjoyed that. I know I'll definitely look back on this in the future, but I don't know, that was really long-winded. I wasn't expecting to go on for that long. Anyways, I don't know when this video is going to be up to begin with, but now we're going to talk about some topics that I'm sure people here, just casual viewers of my channel, are going to be more interested in. You know, my plans for the future. It's all one collective topic from here on out, my future plans, but I'll break it down if I can enunciate. I just learned this from that speech and I'm already failing. If I can just break this down into some subcategories, I will do that. So, while we're on the topic of school, I will be attending a 4-year college. I'll be going to a university for electronic media. And the really cool thing about this university that I'm going to is the very last semester of your college tenure, there is a mandatory internship for this field. So you have to go out. You're not limited to where you could go, so you could move to Texas, California. You could probably even go overseas just to get this internship and get some experience in the field. It's really an opportunity that I felt I couldn't pass up. So I'm really looking forward to going to this college. The next couple of months are going to be really weird. Now that I've graduated from high school, part of me is like, yeah, I feel like I'm out, I'm done. But part of me still feels like this is just an average summer, that I'm going to be going back to school, but really I'm not. It's going to be a different school, different town, different people. Sure, there were a couple people that I know are going to the same school as me, but it's not like I'm bringing my entire class of 2016 with me. It's gonna be a completely different experience. So I'm going for electronic media, and as that is the case, I plan on sticking with this YouTube channel for, at the very least, the next 4 years. This has given me such great experience with speaking skills, with video editing, graphics editing, because I've made all the graphics for my channel, and I'm really proud with how I've progressed. Video editing, I've come a long way as well. If you just want to take a look, I know a lot of my older promo videos are blocked due to copyright because of the songs that I used, but just if you could look back at even my Extreme Rules pay-per-view promo and compare that to my Battleground one, I have grown so much over these past 4 years on YouTube as well. I mean, it's really funny that my high school career and my YouTube career kind of parallel each other. I took a video production course in my freshman year of high school, and at the same time, I had been doing this YouTube thing for a while on a previous channel. Not frequently, but I'd been doing it since like 2011. Then eventually I just decided, you know what, if I'm gonna do this for real, I want to change my channel. That way I don't have these like crappy videos that I wasn't really proud of. If I could just keep those on a previous channel so that they're still there, but they're not on this one, so you're not gonna see my garbage content, which you can still find. You can search it up. If you look up a channel by the name of Clutch Shot 219, I don't even know why I came up with that name in the first place, but that's going to be another video for another time, as well as my previous MathWiz and Keyshawn channel, which was another one where I focused mainly on WWE stuff, but again, another video, another time. But I feel like the way that parallels each other, in those courses, and as well as my own experiences here on YouTube, I've really been able to combine that to become a much greater editor, a much greater broadcaster, and a much better graphic designer, thanks to my own experiences. And really, in class, yeah, sure, I've been able to pick up skills for different programs with the help of my teacher, but at home, on this YouTube channel, I've taught myself all of this. Like, I've looked up videos on the internet to find certain tutorials on how to edit graphics or how to edit videos, how to do certain effects, but ultimately, this YouTube channel is my own product. I have produced everything. The videos, the commentary, the graphics, everything. That's all on me. And I'm really proud that I've been able to do that. As I go into college, I plan on continuing this YouTube channel, like I said. I plan that we only get bigger and better from here. This past year has really been a great year for my channel, in my opinion. Especially once I hit that SummerSlam pay-per-view, I felt this year really is a new era for my channel, for my universe mode, and really the SummerSlam pay-per-view I felt was the biggest showcase of how much I've grown and how much I can continue to evolve as we go through heading into WWE 2K17. Survivor Series, that's going to be a huge undertaking. Already, I binge recorded some Universe Mode episodes so I could have them all ready for commentary, so I could really just hammer through them. So I had them ready, so I had videos that I could upload while I work on Survivor Series, so that hopefully there isn't going to be a 2-week gap like there was with Night of Champions or King of the Ring or Battlegrounds or SummerSlam. I'm going to try to make the gap a little shorter. We'll see how that goes, though. I also have a My Career video that's going to be dropping hopefully in the next week or so. I had been teasing it for a while, and I finally got myself to recreate Zero because you can't import cause from My Career mode this year. I'm not doing that again. That was just really ridiculous that you can't import wrestlers from My Career. So 2K for 2K17, maybe you want to bring that feature back. I don't know why you took it out, but it'd be greatly appreciated. Would have made my job easier. Then I had to recreate Jett Storm as well, which is part of the reason why it took so long to get this sort of epilogue video. That's the word I'm looking for, because that's what it is. It's kind of like the final chapter. It's ultimately just a fantasy matchup, really, so you could still watch the entire Career Mode series. And you could consider this canon, you could consider it not canon, you could consider it to be filler, I suppose. But ultimately, it's a fun little video that I wanted to make, and now that GM Mode has wrapped up, it gives me a little something extra to produce alongside Universe Mode. And I know I already talked about Universe Mode a little bit. I'm making it very difficult for me to try to subsection this with timestamps. I'm hoping that I can get to the December pay-per-view by the end of this game cycle. And I've decided that the December pay-per-view is going to be Fastlane. Some people are probably going to be irritated that it's not TLC, but I'm trying to phase out those gimmick pay-per-views. If you noticed, I've never done a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view because I feel like a Hell in a Cell match should be special. It should be saved for when the feud requires it, not when the venue requires it. Last year I did do a TLC pay-per-view, but this year I'm gonna take that out because TLC matches, I've already done one at Money in the Bank. I'm gonna do them when I feel it's necessary. I'm not gonna let the venue dictate what type of matches I'm gonna have. Extreme Rules is a bit different because you have some diversity there. You can work with a ton of different extreme stipulations, and you'll be alright. But Fastlane is going to be my December pay-per-view, because really, the way I look at it, Royal Rumble is the road to WrestleMania. So Fastlane, it's kind of you're getting onto that fast track. It's sort of like, Fastlane really is like the detour that really gets you onto the road to WrestleMania. I don't think detour is the right word that I'm looking for, but that intersection, it's like really when you're starting to get onto the fast track on the road to WrestleMania. Fastlane is kind of, you're picking up speed, you're getting there, you are getting to the road to WrestleMania, and that's when the Royal Rumble begins. That's just the way I look at it. And then I think for February, I'm assuming that it's going to be in the game, the arena. I'm planning on doing Roadblock, because that I feel makes a little bit more sense, because if you're going to have like a pay-per-view between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, which you never know, I might not even do a pay-per-view like that. I might just go from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania. Just have like a string of episodes with no pay-per-view. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But Roadblock, I think it makes a little more sense as a name, because you're already on the road to WrestleMania with the Royal Rumble, but then you're stopped halfway to WrestleMania by this roadblock that you gotta get through, and hence the name of the event. I think that makes sense. So if it's in the game next year, I'm gonna go with that. Then we have WrestleMania, and then we've got the WWE Draft coming up. But Slammy Awards, I'm doing a bit differently. I'm hoping that, depending on when I finish Fastlane, I can have, I don't know how I want to do it exactly. Maybe the first episode of my 2K17 Universe mode could be the Slammy Awards. That could give people maybe a bit of a motivation to go back and watch the previous series. Or I can try to put the Slammy Awards up, like the nominees video. I can try to put that up before Fastlane. My plan is that the Slammy Awards are, this time around, are gonna cover from WrestleMania to December, because that's the plan I want to have moving forward. That way I don't just have Slammy Awards, WWE Draft, WrestleMania, Extreme Rules, all that in the span of like a month in my Universe mode, which is what I had for 2K15, and that was a really tough time to get all that produced. And now with the type of quality that I put into my pay-per-views, to have to do that and then, you know, produce the regular Universe mode episodes while including the Slammy Awards and the WWE Draft, I feel like that's just a bit much. It's really gonna slow down production for that month. So if I can try to spread that out a bit better, I think that's gonna work out more in my favor and more in the audience's favor, perhaps, because I'm not just bombarding you with all these special events. So that's the plan for Universe mode for those sort of pay-per-views. But again, I do want to reiterate before I leave this video, SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 GM mode. I still keep getting questions about it, not as often anymore. I think people are checking out the previous State of the Channel video, but 2007 GM mode, it's going to be picking up in 2017, early 2017, maybe like December of 2016. Probably it'll start once I get past the Royal Rumble pay-per-view for 2K17 Universe mode, because there's no way that I'm gonna get the Royal Rumble in for 2K16. I just don't have the time to do that. Not with moving to college, with how much time Survivor Series is gonna take for this 5-on-5 matchup. I'm just not gonna have the time to put out quality, like 3 quality pay-per-views between now and October. It will just, my microphone came unplugged, Anyways, I feel like it'll just work out more in my favor, because I don't have to try to cram everything into that 1 month. And it might work out in your favor more as well, because that way I'm not bombarding the viewers with all these special events all in like one condensed space. If I can space it out a little bit better, then that way the Slammy Award, like the reveal of the winners, that could fall anywhere between, I'll probably wait till after Royal Rumble, maybe like leading into WrestleMania. Maybe that would be a good time to do the reveal, like just before WrestleMania, to have the winners of the Slammy Awards. Maybe I'll do it that way. Let me know down in the comment section below what you think I could do in that sort of situation. So GM mode, it's gonna have to wait a little bit. I'd rather just start it when I can and not have like a start-stop like I did with 2008, especially. 2008, I stopped, like... No, actually, 2008 was just all over the place, because I had one series, and then that one I screwed up with. I had a recording error, and then I had to start over, so I kind of stopped partway through, and then that went all the way up through to the next game. 2006, I stopped partway through, which I did find a good spot, but I feel like if I could just have the start of a new year, have this new series ready to go, I think it would just work out much better. And as well, that would be the part where maybe the hype for 2K17 is starting to die down. People are looking for some more diversity with the channel. That's when I can throw in this 2007 GM mode. And you might say, well, now is a good time because the hype for 2K16 is all but dead. So why wouldn't you start the series now? Yeah, you might be right, but like I said, I will be going to college. I don't know how much time this whole move from where I am now to this university, how much time that's going to take exactly. So I don't want to overschedule myself and then plan out these commitments that I'm not going to be able to live up to. So that's why I'm just going to play it safe, hold off this 2007 GM mode for a future date. So before I leave this video, there is one last topic I do want to suggest. 2K17, obviously we don't know what's going to be coming out, what's going to be in this game just yet. There will be a career mode though, because that would be ridiculous if there wasn't. So my question for you, would you like to see a WWE 2K17 My Career mode from me? Would you like to see me do some sort of a playthrough? This won't necessarily, even if you would say yes, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to do it. I want to see a little more of what this mode has to offer this year, what kind of improvements it has made. Career mode obviously is not what I'm known for. I'm known for universe mode. But I thought I did some kind of creative things this year with 2K16 career mode that maybe I could, if 2K17 gives me enough to go off of, then I can try to build upon that. I guess there is a slight possibility that there could be a 2K17 GM mode, but that's such a minor possibility that that's going to happen this year that I'm not even really considering it. But I will say that if 2K17 for some reason would have a GM mode, I am definitely going to be doing that. That is happening. And if for some reason, and this goes for any game in the future, if for some reason there is no universe mode feature, I'm still going to continue with my universe mode. Because now I've reached the point where I really don't need the universe mode setup to make my videos. Because I don't rely on the rivalry manager because it's 2K15, I thought it was kind of okay. Because you had all the selection of rivalries to work with. This year you have nothing. There is nothing you can do. And if you change a matchup, your rivalry is gone. But by now, even if it doesn't get improved, I think I've evolved to the point where I don't need the confines of the universe mode setup to have a universe mode. You see there are channels like Delzinski with SNME. He creates this universe mode and he can do it strictly in exhibition. Whether he uses the universe mode feature or not, you can't really tell the difference because he doesn't really need it. He's evolved beyond that point. And sure, I do still have like the little match screens of matches that I simulated, but honestly, I could drop that and my universe mode would still be fine. So I feel like I have evolved beyond the confines of universe mode's limitations, the game mode itself. So that's a bit of a brief insight as to my future plans. Of course, as things move forward, as I get closer to moving to college, and once I'm actually there, and as I grow accustomed to that life, I will know more about what I'm able to do, and I'll know more about the games as well, so I'll be able to actually plan out what I'm going to be doing. But for right now, this is my plans. Can't believe I talked for, I don't know what this is going to be in the length of the video, but I've talked for an hour, over an hour. Jesus Christ. But anyways, that is going to be it for this State of the Channel video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure people have tuned out by now. They're already gone. This has become almost a podcast, this episode has. It was a very personal episode talking about graduation. I really feel like now that I've gotten past this point, my future, my life can really get underway. And I'm hoping that there's going to be some great things in my future, and I hope there's going to be some great things in your future. I plan to keep continuing making these YouTube videos for, at the very least, the next 4 years as I go to college. And I hope that I'm still going to be able to entertain all of you as long as I make these videos. And I'm hoping that my audience can grow even bigger, and maybe someday I'll get to meet some of you. We'll see how things go. But anyway, until the next video that I make, and I guess for this type of format, until the next State of the Channel video, I've been MathWiz97, and as I always say, keep on YouTubing.